In this video, we're going to talk about the mongoose. So when you think of a mongoose, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably a lightning-fast hunter famous for taking on some seriously deadly snakes. And you're not wrong. But, that's just the opening act. The full story is way more complex and honestly pretty fascinating. Because, yeah, those legendary battles with cobras, they're absolutely true. But it's their incredible intelligence, their surprisingly complicated social lives, and some unique biological quirks that make them truly one of a kind. Alright, so before we jump into the epic fights and the family drama, let's cover the basics. What exactly is a mongoose? Okay, so mongooses are these sleek, kinda cat-like carnivores. They belong to the Herpestidae family, which actually makes them close cousins of the ever-popular meerkat. And you can see how their whole body, long and low to the ground, is just perfectly designed for a life of hunting and digging around for food. And what's pretty incredible is just how much they vary in size. You've got the tiny dwarf mongoose, which is barely longer than a school ruler, all the way up to some of the larger species that can weigh as much as 5 kilograms. In the wild, they usually live for about 10 years, but man, life is tough right from the very beginning. It's actually estimated that less than half of all mongoose pups even make it through their first 3 months. Next up, let's take a look at how this super adaptable creature has spread across the globe. Sometimes naturally, and sometimes, well, with a little misguided help from us humans. So their native home turf is huge. The vast majority of them are found all over Africa, south of the Sahara Desert. But they've also made themselves at home in parts of southern Asia and even way over on the Iberian Peninsula in Europe. But here's the thing, they aren't always a welcome guest. Back in the 1800s, people introduced them to places like Hawaii and islands in the West Indies. The idea was to control rat populations on sugarcane farms. It totally did not go as planned. It totally backfired, and now they're an invasive species, posing a really serious threat to native birds. Okay, this is where the story of the mongoose gets really surprising. Go ahead and forget that image of a lone warrior. Many mongoose species are some of the most social animals you can find, building these incredibly cooperative communities. Some species, like the banded mongoose, live in these big groups, which are called packs or colonies. And we're not just talking about a small family here. Some packs can have dozens and dozens of members. They're also nomadic, so they're always on the move, often crashing in old termite mounds for a few nights before they pack up and find a new spot. And their system for raising the kids is just, wow. It's an all-paws-on-deck approach, and it's the absolute key to their survival. The females actually sync up their births, so they all have babies within a few days of each other. Then, the whole pack pitches in. You've got babysitters, you've got guards, and they even assign each pup an adult mentor, an escort, to teach it how to survive. How cool is that? So, who's in charge? Well, it's not like a strict monarchy with a king or a queen. It's a bit more fluid. The hierarchy is mostly based on things like age, size, and experience. You might see a dominant male take the lead during mating season, but it's really much more of a team effort than a dictatorship. Life out there in the wild is all about who you know. And for the mongoose, that means having some legendary enemies, but also some very, very surprising friends. Their world really has two different sides. On one hand, it's a constant fight for survival against predators like snakes, lions, and big birds of prey. But on the other hand, they've formed these amazing partnerships with hornbills and even warthogs. It's this whole network where everyone helps each other out. And you should never, ever underestimate their ferocity. I mean, just listen to this. This quote is from a photographer who actually watched a single mongoose stand its ground and successfully chase off 4 lions that got too close to its den. 1 mongoose, 4 lions. That level of courage is just, it's mind-blowing. Alright, to wrap things up, let's just run through a few more awesome facts that really make the mongoose stand out in the animal kingdom. First off, that legendary ability to fight snakes, it isn't just about being fast. Nope, they have a secret weapon built right into their DNA. So basically, the little receptors in their cells, the things that snake venom usually attacks, have a special shape because of a mutation. This unique shape makes it really hard for the venom's toxins to latch on, which gives them this incredible resistance. Now, they're not totally immune, but it gives them a massive advantage in a fight. And they're not just tough, they're also super smart. When just being strong doesn't cut it, they come up with some pretty clever ways to get their next meal. For example, if they find something like a bird's egg or a snail with a tough shell, they know exactly what to do. They'll just pick it up and hurl it against a rock over and over until it cracks open. I mean, that's a perfect example of an animal using tools. And finally, their cleverness even extends to their group defense tactics. When one mongoose isn't intimidating enough, the whole pack has a trick up its sleeve. This is teamwork at its absolute finest. The entire pack will bunch up super tight and start moving together as one single unit. To a predator, this mobbing behavior makes them look like one big scary creature, and it's often enough to scare the threat right off. So after all that, what's the one thing we should really remember about the mongoose? Is it the fearless snake fighter, the clever problem solver, or the fiercely loyal family member? You know, maybe the most amazing thing is that it's all three of those things, all rolled into one. Alright? It's this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.